Good morning. I'm Dina Davidson, Discipleship Director of Thrive College, and I have a not so encouraging on the face of it verse for you this morning, but if you understand it and really believe it, I believe ultimately it is good news, because anytime we name reality, that is good news. Rather than living with lies, we should live in the truth. So let's read Romans 1, verse 18. For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men, who by their unrighteousness suppress the truth. For what can be known about God is plain to them, because God has shown it to them. For his invisible attributes, namely his eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly perceived ever since the creation of the world and the things that have been made, so they are without excuse. This is a classic passage from Romans that teaches us a very unpopular doctrine. And that is that you and I, we are all alike, aside from Jesus, under the wrath of God, which means God's intense, focused anger sits on us. Apart from the forgiveness made available through Jesus Christ, God's wrath belongs to us. Why? Because we deserve it. And I know this is not necessarily on the face of it good news, but honestly, it is the only way to explain the history of mankind. As you look at human history, you'll see two things. One is that mankind is possible to do great good. But on the other hand, we are also capable of doing great harm. And you see both of those stories throughout human history. And Romans 1 unpacks that it doesn't matter how good we do, the good that we contribute to the world, the negative that we contribute, the sin, the evil that we bring into the world makes us the focus of God's wrath. Why? Well, first of all, you don't get credit for doing what you're supposed to do. That is what you are supposed to do. But the evil that you bring into the world, that is against God's righteous law. And God is angry at our sin. He's not angry because he just doesn't like sin. He's angry because our sin hurts others and hurts the world that he created. Ultimately, God is a God of love, which is why he has an intense, focused wrath towards those that harm his nature and harm his creation. So as you're waking up this morning, I want you to spend time meditating on the fact that if you are a follower of Jesus Christ, you are not in and of yourself good. And that is actually good news, because that means when you sin, all you have to do is run to the throne of Jesus and say, I did it, I sinned, this is part of my human nature, but I want your righteousness. I want your forgiveness, because I don't want to live like me. I want to live like your perfect Son, who showed me the best way to live as a human. The wrath of God is being revealed against all mankind. We suppress the truth through our wickedness. But at the end of the day, all of us have inside of us, according to Romans 1, the knowledge of who God is, which means that because of what Jesus did on the cross, that knowledge, if we are able to look to Jesus, we can find our way back and receive salvation from Jesus and be right with him. The wrath of God is being revealed. So take some time and meditate on that, not as it applies to someone else, but as it applies to your own sin. And then spend some time receiving forgiveness from Jesus, thanking him for what he accomplished on the cross, and determining to live the rest of your day and the rest of your life following after him in his footsteps. I hope ultimately, as you take that path, that encourages you today.